Hello there. This is Vinita Dawra Nangia, reading my column Ozone for the Times of India. Age of the willfully obtuse. People deliberately ignore real issues to latch onto smaller non-issues as these seem more manageable. But how long can you possibly dodge the whole truth? When people find themselves inadequate in dealing with a larger issue, they prefer to take up the smaller pieces that they find manageable, thus ignoring the complete picture. Rather than face the bigger story, they clutch at handy straws and run with them. Many a larger discussion has been reduced to a ridiculous spat due to this proclivity. A breakdown or even an explosion should never be attributed to the last visible trigger. It takes years and several incidents for matters to build to an extent where normal people react in a volatile manner. Typically, people hold themselves back from aggressive reactions, convinced that things will change or that they will be able to handle them better. It is only when it all comes to a head with the last proverbial straw that the meltdown happens. It would be foolish to attribute the collapse to just the last visible cause and ignore the previous build-up. So when someone explodes and overreacts to a seemingly minor stimulus, it is insensitive to oversimplify the matter and correlate it to the immediate situation. Where does the source of that overreaction lie? If you really care for the person, that is what you would look for, so that the matter can be resolved in a meaningful and conclusive manner. If someone dies by suicide because they have not been able to buy a cell phone for online classes, we all express shock that such a small issue could lead to such a drastic step. But stop and think. How can that even be a possibility for a normal person? There has to have been a build-up, previous incidents of helplessness, anger, rejection, or ridicule that were left unprocessed for someone to give up on life. Of course, many times it is convenient to be willfully obtuse and ignore what lies hidden within the folds. Men are accused of stereotyping women. After all, it is easier to typecast rather than get to the heart of the matter. Instead of trying to figure what is actually upsetting or hurting a woman, blame it on womanly moods and sulks. Similarly, women like to stereotype men as uncaring or insensitive. Discussions and arguments go off the rails when one side deliberately misunderstands the fundamental issues. So even though you can see that your spouse is disappointed in you over larger issues, it is so much easier to latch onto a minor matter and start a discussion on that. That helps negate and deflect attention from the larger, real issue because that isn't something you're confident you can resolve. The crux of the matter lies elsewhere, while we expend energy on what is visible and possibly totally irrelevant. This is indeed the age of the intentional misconstrual, where people pretend to misunderstand just so that they can score points over others and proceed to ignore or misrepresent that which doesn't suit them. Isn't that exactly what trolls do when they selectively pick on posts to highlight imagined insults and post completely digressive, unrelated messages to make an inflammatory point? This renders the other side helpless, for you can fight the false with the true, but what do you fight deliberate misinterpretation or a lie with? To be willfully obtuse is an art by itself, but a dishonest, insincere one. There is nothing like honesty in relationships, to cut to the heart of the matter and deal sincerely with the real issues, rather than to be annoyingly insensitive and slow on the uptake. Thank you.